Crypto Madness 4 years ago. Today's guest, Richard Fecchio, also saw the potential for blockchain around the same time. As the CEO of AltFins, Richard's built an online platform for screening and analysis of cryptocurrencies. The more you know, the better you can invest and trade. So become a better investor and trader today on episode number 544 of the Bad Crypto Podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Who's bad?
Welcome to episode 54 of the Bad Crypto Podcast with Richard Fecchio. Go feck yourself.
Hello, Sir Lord Travis.
Hello, Sir Lord Joe Kyle. And hello to all of you millions of people tuning in. Like, I don't know, we're up to almost a 250 million people listening to every episode.
Yeah, and you have a new member to your family.
I do. Well, I don't know if I'll still have it by the time that the show airs, but I guess it airs tonight. So I guess I do. I got a new little puppy dog, a rat terrier mix named Tuki, and Tuki is an explorer. And if Tuki sees a little crack in a door or in a fence, Tuki wants to run and go see what the hell it is. And so I had to get some stuff to train this dog so it doesn't run away.
Shakala. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. We're glad you're here, and we got a great interview for you today. But first, Sir Lord Travis is going to tell you about our sponsor.
This is like a rap. It looks like it doesn't rhyme though. It doesn't rhyme.
Keep going. I like it.
Yield on that ETH at the same time.
What?
That ETH. So, there's this thing called DeFi, which is pretty handy. And Ethereum 2.0 is coming out, so Ethereum holders can earn a yield on their holding, and they can secure the network through staking. But there's a catch. You're earning a yield through staking is only available to investors with 32 ETH or more. So unless you hold over $100,000 worth of ETH, you cannot take part in that staking.
Bummer.
Oh, but you can now because Matrixport is releasing their own ETH 2.0 staking product, which is going to allow you to invest with as little as 5 ETH, which is still a lot, but it's just like one pudgy penguin NFT. So take advantage of the benefits of staking your Ethereum with Matrix Point. The yield is 9% APY, and you can do that at badco.in/Matrixport. That's right, just like the Matrix, and then add port at the end, and then you can also download their app, Matrixport. Check it out.
Oh, badco.in/Matrixport.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you guys get ready to screen and analyze your cryptocurrencies because you're going to learn how to do it right now. How do you jump from being an equity research analyst at investment banks on Wall Street to being the CEO of a website that tracks the crypto world? Well, we're going to find out today as we welcome the CEO of AltFins, Richard Fecchio, to the show, and the website is altfins.com. Richard, welcome to Bad Crypto.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with an answer to that very question. Talk a little bit about what you were doing on Wall Street, how long you were doing it, and then what caught your attention, in the crypto world.
Sure. So I spent most of my career really on traditional Wall Street in the sense that for 14 years I was an equity research analyst. That means I researched and published reports and recommendations primarily on technology companies. So I focused on the technology sector, and we basically I worked at these mid-tier investment banks and brokerage houses where we advised institutional investors and mutual funds, hedge funds, family offices, pension funds, and we advise them on which stocks to own in their portfolio, and I focus specifically on technology.
Let's stop there for a second, because that tech sector, has been so hot. I got into the internet early. I remember watching the initial run, of Yahoo and these early, ones to the dot-com era. Then the dot-com bubble burst because these businesses were overvalued. They didn't have the second wave, right? And so you were there when, Facebook and Google and these other, what was that like?
The first time. So I remember career, all I
crying like, I'm gonna get this stock to me.
It was rough. It was a rough beginning to my career. It was swimming as well, and then dust settled. The product and the value of the companies themselves, the value that they provided. I'm not even talking about the market cap value. But then the dust settles, and the rubble among that rubble rose companies that that became huge and to this day are huge drivers of technology adoption, right? So that was a huge opportunity, and that these cycles and the adoption of some of these technologies that I've seen along my career. So, the internet adoption, just access to internet adoption I'm talking about from AOL and so on. But the adoption of e-commerce, online advertising, then came mobile smartphone device adoption, and so on. None of these really seem to compare to the speed and the pace of innovation that we're seeing right now in the blockchain space and the cryptocurrency space. Is just mind-blowing. In the DeFi space as well, and now the NFTs have come around. It's faster, even though already all those prior phenomena that I've talked about, the technology adoptions that I talked about, were already so fast. But this is even faster because it just seems to be happening on the global scale, and like so many people are contributing to it.
Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of blockchain and decentralization.
Crowdsourced, if you will, this entire adoption and innovation.
Right. That's the beauty of blockchain.
Open source and right.
So what led you down the crypto rabbit hole then? Because I have a feeling you started going down there around the same time that we did.
Well, I don't know. Probably later. I mean, I really caught the bug in 2017. ICO. Okay. All right. So
Me too.
We're on the same page then. So it was purely as I was used to sort of trading and investing into stocks and technology companies. Now a new asset came along, and I wanted to make money and speculate. And so I jumped into it, and that led to sort of just realization that it's a real asset class. Over time, I gained. Initially, honestly, I was very skeptical. I guess a lot of people are in the beginning, until you really dig in and you start seeing some use cases and the technology and adoption. And so I was very skeptical, but over time, I've come around to the view that this is really a new asset class, and there's going to be a whole new infrastructure built around it. And as I was trading those cryptocurrencies at the time, I had to open up accounts across multiple exchanges. Data was coming from multiple sources, and I just grew extremely frustrated, and it was really difficult to manage everything, just getting the information and tracking prices and everything else, that I decided basically with a group of developers to create a platform that helps me and helps other users essentially make sense and kind of monitor the development and the prices.
That's kind of the way a lot of things get built, right? I remember when Yang and Philo built Yahoo. It was basically, they did it in the early days of the web to basically catalog their own bookmarks, right? Because there were so many sites to go to, and then friends started coming to them and say, "Hey, you should add this to your catalog and this," and pretty soon, yet another hierarchically organized oracle, which is what Yahoo actually stands for, was born, and it became, the web's first real directory, not so much a search engine, but a directory. And people build things because, I wish that this existed. It doesn't? Okay, I'll build it. So you built it. The website is altfins.com. I'm logged in here to my account. I see a lot going on here. Give us a high-level overview of what can be done with this tool.
Right. Yeah, so we think of ourselves as a place where you can discover trading ideas. So you can screen the market based on a lot of different technical indicators like MACD, RSI, moving average crossover. So it's really, for the most part at this point, a tool for technical trade or technical analysis of altcoins. You can slice and
hello, mate. Right up, please, Diesel.
You can create your own sort of scanners and screeners, and find essentially the coins that either are trending up strongly, are breaking out through the resistance zones, and so on. We detect certain chart patterns. So while a lot of projects in the sort of the financial area of cryptocurrencies focus on the actual execution, right? The exchanges and other apps try to give the users the best price, the lowest commissions, the best execution, the highest liquidity. We really focus on the pre-trade analysis. Okay, great, I can execute a trade here, but what should I be buying or selling, and why? Can I create some kind of a strategy? And that's what Altfin serves, is really the pre-trade analysis, strategy creation, and framework creation for the users. And so that's what I felt like was missing at the time when I jumped into this space, and to the great extent still is missing. And we've got a long ways to go to make it real, to continue to add value to the tool. But I think already today it's quite unique, I think, in the marketplace, because again, everyone seems to focus on the actual trade execution, but not on helping users on why and what should I be trading.
Well, speaking of trading, I want to timestamp this for August 23rd, 10 a.m., so that we have a point of reference for where the market cap is right now. It's at $2.2 trillion. Bitcoin has broken through $50,000 again. If you're listening in the future, and you are, because there's no way you could listen to this in the past, then for all we know, Bitcoin is at 100 or 25. I don't know. Ethereum's at 33.42. Cardano's on a run, making its way to $3. This, to me, seems very much indicative that... Indicative? Is that a word? Indicative? It indicates that we are not yet out of the bull market. And so what does the TA, the technical analysis, show us? Is the biggest run yet to come before we see the pullback?
Well, we had a massive correction. So if we just look at this year, the volatility in the cryptocurrency markets is obviously never ceased to amaze us. But just this year, obviously, we started off with Bitcoin at 30,000. We went to 65 mid-May, right? And altcoins blew up even more, and DeFi as well, especially. And then we had a massive pullback, right? A lot of negative sentiment and news, and it kind of feeds on itself, just the way it feeds on itself on the way up, it fed on itself on the way down, and we retreated by 50% of Bitcoin. Ethereum was down over 60% from 4,400 to 1,700 during that time, a couple of months in June, July or so. And most of the other altcoins, honestly, were down 70 to 90%. It was massive reset. And frankly, I'd say that was a mini bear market. The traditional definition of bear market is being down by 20%. Okay, let's just say crypto is a whole different animal, and we'll say, okay, it's 40% drawdown is a bear market. Well, we were even down more than that. So we were in a bear market, and honestly, I thought we were going to be in a bear market longer than this. But we've bounced back and made up a lot of the ground, 2/3 of the way. And our indicators, so on our platform, we rank and actually rate the trends on the short-term, medium, and long-term basis. And the short-term and medium terms are clearly now in the uptrend across most of the altcoins. There are still some that are not. But I'd say 2/3 of the altcoins are indicating an uptrend on the short term and the medium term basis. The long term basis is still sort of neutral-ish, in some cases still down. So we've got some ways to go before we completely reestablish the uptrend. And we're seeing some coins like you mentioned Cardano. There's a bunch of others like Solana and sort of layer one names, Terra Luna, that are breaking into new all-time highs. So there's been clearly a big trend reversal. Most of the altcoins are also breaking through above their 200-day moving averages, which is also a big bullish sign for a trend reversal. So I'd say we're in uptrend now, and I think that we are still, we still have a lot of juice left in this uptrend because we've digested a lot of the negative news. We've shaken off a lot of the weak hands on the way down and built a really solid base for Bitcoin, and that creates a really good backdrop for the altcoins as well.
But myself and a number of others in the space have said it doesn't make sense for the run to end this soon based on historical trends, right? Every time we've seen the halving, it's usually about 18 months post-halving that we hit our highs. And that would put us somewhere around, December, January for this run. And so my personal take, and I'm not a financial advisor, has been that I agree with a lot of the people that say we're going to see a six-figure Bitcoin this year, an explosive market. And I think we're starting to feel now with Bitcoin passing 50 that, all right, this is actually really possible.
I agree with you. Yes, it's still possible. And when we look at the type of funds that are getting involved, some of the studies that are showing that double-digit percentage adoption of Bitcoin and other crypto